Phantomaniacs, and welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, brought to you by Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, available every Friday wherever you get your podcast. This is very exciting for me. When G.I. Joe Classified series started, I just didn't even think of them doing Sergeant Slaughter because of the licensing involved and the likeness and everything else. And, you know, we've got plenty of Slaughter figures. It just seemed like something that might not be important to Hasbro as part of the G.I. Joe line. Certainly not as important as Sergeant Slaughter is to me. I love him as a character. I love his Sunbow characterization. I love him as a wrestler. If you have not seen Pat Patterson versus Sergeant Slaughter in the alley fight, look it up. Just Google Patterson Slaughter. It's the first thing that comes up on Google. It's awesome. I loved his wrestling career. I loved his G.I. Joe. The depiction in the comics, of course, is slightly lesser. In Sunbow, I know there's some who don't like how overpowered he seemed. I love it. And the fact that he voiced him, you know, you got to understand, there were a lot of sort of celebrity things like that in cartoons, but the fact that Slaughter actually did his own voice is just awesome. And matter of fact, let's take a little look at a couple of things here. This is from when I met Sarge at an electronics boutique managers meeting where they would have expos of different things. I don't remember exactly what he was there representing, but what's important is he had a G.I. Joe 8x10. He could not have been any nicer. I told him I was a fan of his wrestling and of him being in G.I. Joe. So he said, attention, David, since you're a fan of me, the Sarge, and a G.I. Joe fan, no push-ups for you. Yo, Joe, Sergeant Slaughter, WWF, with a little smiley face with the hat on. Look at that. Just couldn't have been a nicer guy. I've met him several times since then, and he's always just as nice as can be. This is still one of my favorite Sergeant Slaughter figures. This is the old Hasbro WWF figure with that likeness is incredible. This is probably his best known look. And yeah, there's a little smudging on it, but I've had this thing for over 20 years now. I'm not sure how long I've had this figure. He was in a bag of other WWF figures that I got from Goodwill, that I bought because I saw him and I was like, oh man, I'd like to have that Slaughter. I think I paid $5 and there were maybe 6 or 7 figures in there. That's how my Hasbro WWF collection started. So this is a great figure. And then of course we've got the original G.I. Joe Real American Hero Sergeant Slaughter. I've got several of these. This is just the one. This is actually, I think, in the worst condition of the ones that I've got. This is just the one that was standing and easiest to get to. But you can see that same look. And then this is from Mattel's WWE Legends line. It's cool. The belt could have been done a lot better, but otherwise, fantastic figure. Really, really well done. Mattel has been very good at getting Sarge's likeness right. And then finally, and I believe there's a review of this guy on the channel, the Ultimate Edition Sergeant Slaughter, which is incredible. And I would say absolutely the best Sergeant Slaughter to date. It is based on the Hasbro released a Sergeant Slaughter in the style of the old rubber LJN figures. It's a weird story, and it's a figure I would love to have, but that's what this look is, and it's absolutely fantastic. And then there's also, of course, the Valaverse Action Force Sergeant Slaughter that I had at one point, and, you know, we all have to make our choices. As soon as I heard about this, I moved that guy, because this is the Slaughter I want. So, packaging-wise, you guys may know by now, you may not. I am fine with the windowless packaging, and I love this box art. I kind of wanted a second one of these anyway, and now just to have this art, and you can see there's a nice gloss on the central character of Sarge, and he's got the G.I. Joe explosion lines around him, and then just a bunch of different depictions of him. He's got, you know, this one is obviously sort of Sunbow-esque, this one's Marvel Comics looking. Picture of the figure, and then over here we have presumably Sarge holding this figure, holding the little figure that comes in here, which we'll get to in a minute, and then a picture very similar to one of the wrestling promotional 8x10s. Back of the box, we've got everything that's inside, and let's get to it. Let's take a look. I know there's a lot of controversy about the plastic-free packaging, but thus far I am a 100% in support of it because, well, I don't know if I even noticed the graphics were on there with Kamakura, which you can go see that review right now. Oh, side of the box, like the Sky Strikers in his sunglasses there, very nice. This art's great. Oh, and I forgot his specialties. He is into astronomy, punching, pictograms, and he hates paperwork. So there you go. Who doesn't hate paperwork? Gosh, look at this guy. I'm going to get on Big Bad. Oh, this, by the way, mine came from BigBadToyStore.com. I believe everybody else in the world already has their Sergeant Slaughters, judging by social media, but I'm still reviewing this anyway because I love Sergeant Slaughter so much. And I'd like to think maybe my review will be a little bit different from what you've seen. Gosh, that physique is great. He looks awesome. Let's get him out of there. We've got these nice paper ties that I still haven't bothered to look up the name for them because who cares really. But the main thing here, and I'll continue to say it for a while just so people kind of get my perspective, is that this figure is not in a plastic tray that is going to warp the figure. That's my big selling feature of the plastic-free packaging, is I've hated those trays for decades now, and to see them gone is one of the best things that's happened in figure collecting in my lifetime, to be honest. So he's got your standard classified series articulation. It's always interesting to see the articulation on a shirtless figure. I mean, he's got his tank top on, the top of his singlet, I suppose, on. Okay, so he still has the hinge at the top of his neck, which Hasbro, if you're watching, don't get rid of that on any other figures. Kamakura is a lesser figure for not having that hinge. I'm very glad to see it on Sarge. So, because we need people to be able to pose like that, I guess. I don't know. That hinge just makes a huge difference. It's a necessary piece of articulation. If you hadn't introduced it in the first place, then we wouldn't miss it. But now you can't take it away. He's got big, giant arms. That torso, look at the shape of that torso. It's fantastic. Now, obviously, Sergeant Slaughter never actually looked like this, but this is the G.I. Joe version of Sarge. That portrait, look at that mean mug, that big jaw. They even did a really nice job with the hair. He's got, the hairline's a little bit further back. Man, he is great. I love that he comes with the fists on as his default hands. And of course, got that great waist. No cut joint here. It's that nice ball-jointed waist. These are the best articulated figures available from mass market retail today. He's got the double-jointed knees. Just everything you expect out of one of these figures. The camo, he's got the nice, the brown is a brighter brown. They didn't go with a darker brown that would kind of blend into the green as we've seen on some of the other classified series figures. It stands out and it looks good. And I like that they went with brown because, as you can see on the original figure, it's green on green. I just like the look of that brown on green. It just stands out a little bit more and gives him just a little something different. It's still the spirit of that original figure, but, updated. Just looks cooler. I love the way they've done the boots here. You've got those nice treads, all the detail, the laces. They look really good. This figure is fantastic. I love it. Oh, and the drop-down hips that some like and some do not. They don't bother me a bit. So let's stand him right there and take a look at his locker, he is number 53. The locker has a corresponding 53 on it. I'm not actually going to use these lockers to store the extra accessories. I keep all the stuff in Mylar bags. Oh, look at that, Sergeant Slaughter. I love it, with the little keypad. I keep all my accessories in Mylar bags, so I don't particularly need these lockers, but I will keep them because I keep all the packaging for the Classified series. Am I? Okay, so here's our paper bag, which I think is pretty classy. The way that's printed. Oh, that figure is so tiny. I don't think I realized, and I actually have some of the world's smallest figures. I just haven't looked at them in a minute because they're neat. There's just not much to them. I did not realize just how tiny this was going to be. That's great. I mean, it's the right scale. All right, let's get Sarge over here. Get rid of that. This is another great thing, another wonderful thing to come out of the plastic-free packaging is now our accessories, rather than getting bent up, are being put in these cardboard sleeves so that they maintain their shape and their integrity, I guess. I don't know. I understand not everybody agrees, but for me personally, in the way that I collect, the plastic-free packaging is a major upgrade over the old stuff. Man, look at that. Those sunglasses packed in there securely. Let's go ahead and just put them on Sarge. I want to see how well they fit, because that's one thing that's difficult to get right. Look at that. They clip right on. They stay on. Right behind the ears. They're not all big and thick and weird looking. They're nice and shiny. Not vac metal, but my gosh, they are shiny. Oh, it's fantastic. So we're going to stand Sarge back up off to the side over there. He has got his whistle and his, baton? Or I guess it's not a riding crop. That whistle might be a little tricky to get out of there. There we go. Let's get everything out of here so our camera can focus on what we want it to focus on. So yeah, look at that. I mean, it is. That's a riding crop, right? Isn't that what that is? Tell me in the comments. Let me know. It's great for, I guess, whipping the troops into shape. That seems a little inhumane, but hey, it's Sergeant Slaughter, not Sergeant Hug. And the whistle. Nice gold painted detail on that. And then our last piece, which is kind of weird because I'm so used to Sergeant Slaughter wrestling figures that obviously are not going to include rifles or firearms of any kind. And we've got this cool rifle that comes with this Sarge. Now, oh, it's got, tell me I didn't just, oh, there it is. Okay, so it's got the magazine that should push right in there. It's not an AK-47, and believe me, my knowledge of firearms is relatively limited. I mean, it resembles the AK-47, but it's not really what it is, I don't think. Is this some made-up thing? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. I know you guys like to fill me in when I'm lacking information. And this is an instance where I could use some. But look at all the difference just those two spots of brown make in how good this rifle looks. If this was all black, it would just look so much cheaper and less worthy. But it is, those touches of brown make all the difference. And then up here, what is this? This little spot of red. Is that something jammed in there, or is that intentional deco? I don't see why there would be any red. Let's see, I don't think I've got anything pointy sitting around easily accessible to see if I can dig whatever that is out. I mean, it does look intentional. Anyway, great rifle. We've got Sarge's trademark hat. And it's basically rubber, which in my opinion is what hats need to be. Oh, look at that. It's even got the band at the back, or the little strap or whatever. That's fantastic. So let's see how well this fits on, and look at that. Excellent. So let's compare to the greatest Sarge of all time. Oh man, how wonderful is this? And again, the brown hat matching the brown on the camo just gives him a more interesting toyetic look. And of course the white belt. I like that they brought the white belt in from the wrestling look. This figure is fantastic. Oh, what else have we got here? Oh, we've got a scope? Oh, interesting. So this is a little like offset scope for the rifle. It looks like it plugs in right there, but maybe not. Oh, wait, maybe, yeah, it goes on that side. Not the easiest thing to get in place, but I'm not even sure I've got that all the way in. But you can see that slot right there seems to be where that goes. There we go. I think I got it. Nope, I didn't get it. All right, we'll mess with that later. That may or may not fit in very well. And then we've got an assortment of hands, which is very nice to see in the classified series. You know, we've seen a few hands here and there, but this is really a great loadout. He has got strangling Serpentor hands that look great. He's got the pointing finger. Oh, he's got two pointing fingers. And then he's got C-grips, of course, with the trigger finger that are kind of the standard issue hands for the classified series. Let's see how easy these are to swap out, because Hasbro hasn't done a ton of this. And there's a little snug. A little snug. I'm going to put the choking hands on there. The intensity hands. Yeah, those, you got to struggle a little bit to get those out. There we go. Now, these hands, though, kind of make me wish we had an angry face to go with this Sarge, because he should be yelling while he's strangling. But still, they look great. Just tons of detail. Look at you can see the veins and the tendons and everything. Really fantastic job. And then finally, our tiny little replica in scale Sergeant Slaughter action figure. This is just wacky. Of course, first done by the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast guys. Their Super 7 figures came with little teensy tiny figures of them. This should slide right out. Yeah. So your card back slides right out. And the figure is in one of the little plastic trays that I mentioned disliking before, but in this instance it's appropriate. My big giant fingers are not designed for this kind of work, you guys. Oh my gosh. All right, hang on. It's time to bring out the tools. Tools of the trade. Good gosh. And there is a teeny tiny 1/18 to of 1/12 scale Sergeant Slaughter, I suppose. That's great. I love it. So, there he is. Sergeant Slaughter, G.I. Joe Classified Series. Phenomenal figure. There was an upcharge on this guy, and I think we all see, or I see where it is with the extra hands. He's got more accessories than most Classified Series figures do. I see the value in this one. There's no question here. Unlike Kamakura, this guy was absolutely worth the investment, and I'm going to be getting a second one just to keep mint in box, just because. So there you go, Sergeant Slaughter, G.I. Joe Classified Series, phenomenal action figure. I am delighted. Thanks for watching, you guys, and until next time, come here, you pukes! But no push-ups for you. Okay, so I had to come back. I mean, I didn't care that much about it because I'm not going to display him with the rifle, but I did want to get my cover shot, and in playing with it, I was like, there's no way this fits over here, and that's because it doesn't. There's actually a very visible slot. Some of you might have even seen it as I was moving the rifle around. You know, when you're trying to do a review and you're just not looking at the right place, it's very easy to overlook stuff. So that actually slots right into there. Why is this a separate piece? No idea. But it is. That's how they made it, and that's how it goes. So there you go. Thanks for watching, you guys. Yo, Joe!
Smash that like button if you like needless things.